Cam Ward opted out of the second half of a bowl game, and a lot of people are up in arms about it. I got asked about this a bunch. We were not going to put it in the show, but now it's in the show. So Cam Ward, if you're unaware of what happened, Kubelik stole the show in the Pop-Tart Bowl. But the solid subcontext was Iowa State came back and won the Pop-Tarts Bowl because, in no small part, Cam Ward, Miami quarterback, played the first half, threw the ball all over the place, and then opted out of the second half. There was no immediate information available on what had happened. Like, did he inform Mario coming out of the tunnel, hey, I'm out, here's my helmet? Was there a fight in the locker room? Did he get benched? Probably not. There was no information ahead of time. Well, I'll give you the information. This was planned ahead of time. This was known ahead of time. That shouldn't shock you, but if it does shock you, it was known ahead of time. This was not a surprise to anyone except maybe if you were watching at home, because Mario Cristobal and Shannon Dawson did not have the foresight to let the entire public in Iowa State know what their game plan was. So, yeah, I've got thoughts on this. I will share them with you. I got no problem sharing these with you. The way I look at college football bowl games these days is I've got what I wish they were, which is fairy tale land, and then I've got what reality is. And reality is like Shawshank, and that is college football is no fairy tale world anymore. Bowl games are no fairy tale world. And so there was an argument that was being made by the Cannells of the world yesterday, but he was not alone for once. And it was, how could you go out there, play a half, and then not want to go finish the rest of the game, especially when this was back and forth. Like, this was back and forth down to the very end. And there was an ISO shot on the ESPN camera feed every other play of Cam Ward helpfully just standing on the sideline. That ate at me as well as it did anyone else. Before I tell you what my thoughts on this are, I'm telling you what my feeling was. My feeling was I'm watching this and I hate this. So if you had a big problem with it, trust me, I get it. And then I saw Cannell and a couple other folks making a valid point, which was, it used to be that if you opted out of a bowl game, it was pretty uncommon. But if you opted out, it was because you were going to be a high-level draft pick, and it was all or nothing. Even before the insurance policies you could take out, you've got millions of dollars on the line. What if you get hurt and then you cost yourself generational value? Didn't like it, but I got it back then. But what Cannell and them were saying was, you're getting paid 7 figures to play college football now. Plus, they've got insane insurance policies. So you're double covered. There is a huge safety net under you, even if you do get hurt. And also, there's just the thought that if you're getting paid big money to play college football, you play college football. You finish. So I'm not going to call you an idiot if you think that way. I see that. You asked me how I feel about this, I'll tell you how I feel about it. The only thing I can do is tell you how I feel, because I fully get people who had a problem with it. But if I'm a Miami fan, I'm what matters. All due respect, what a sports writer thinks about this does not matter. What a Wake Forest fan thinks about this does not matter. What I think about it doesn't matter, but it's my show, so you asked me, so I'll tell you. If I'm a Miami fan, Cam Ward saved my season. I probably lose 3 or 4 more games without that guy. So for everyone who looks at this as a failure, man, I just won double-digit games for only the second time in the past 2 decades because that guy chose to come to Miami. Did we pay him a lot? Yeah, a lot of other folks would have paid him a lot too. But he chose Miami. You know what else he did? He normalized the idea that if you're a big-time quarterback, you can go to Miami, vault your own stock up, because Cam Ward was not going to be a first-round draft pick this time last year. So Miami benefited from Cam Ward. Cam Ward benefited from Miami. Other guys in the quarterback market are seeing that, so that may pay dividends for me down the road. But also, he was worth 3 or 4 more wins this year for me in what otherwise may have been a disastrous season. Because, yeah, we lost to Syracuse. Yeah, we lost to Georgia Tech. Dude, we would have lost to Cal without him. We would have lost to Virginia Tech without him. We were close in a lot of other games. And he was a supreme leader, which is being lost because I think people's lasting impression was, what kind of leader sits out the second half of a bowl? It's not a fairy tale world. I'm not so sure that Cam Ward just made that decision and said, screw it. Whatever happens in the second half happens. I'm pretty sure he sat on the sideline and didn't love watching that happen either. It was the lesser of 2 evils, if you will. He made his decision. Whatever decision he made his decision. I'm telling you as a Miami fan how I would feel, and I would say bowl games are not what they used to be. If I'm a fan, I'm looking at a bowl game, and it is the first version of our spring. That's what I view a bowl game as. So if you told me the dynamic going in was going to be I get Cam Ward for a half, and then you're going to get really, really good competitive film on what may be your starter next year in Emory Williams in the second half, I'd say I'll take that. I hope we win, but if we lose, but in the interim we get a lot of valuable information that lets us know if we've got our guy or if we need to go to the portal to get another guy, then I'm okay with that. Well, that's what yesterday was. That's what yesterday was. So I watched it and did not like it. I understood it. It's not my business what a guy does with his bowl decision. I wish we could go back in time, but we can't. There's no one who wants to go back in time more than me to, the way the dynamic was in the BCS era, but we can't do that. So if it's not a fairy tale world and we recalibrate how we view college football in lieu of that, I don't know what more I could have wanted from yesterday. I'd love for him to play the whole game. I'd love to win the game, but you know what I did learn? I learned I probably don't have my quarterback of 2025 on the roster. That's what I would think if I was a Miami fan. The staff may feel otherwise. And then I would also think to myself, how quickly can we make defensive staff changes? Because that is the last time, if I'm a Miami fan, that I'm willing to watch that happen. Like, it was obvious early on that defense was the Achilles heel of that team, but you can't do anything during the season. But you can do something now. And I'm looking at not the days or the hours portion on my watch, which I'm not wearing. I'm looking at the minutes and seconds portion before things should happen, before action is taken there. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. I didn't have a strong feeling about it. I'll just say I didn't get up in arms about it. I don't think he cost himself in this draft stock. I don't like that that's the way it is. I accept that that's the way it is. Can't change it. That's where my mind is.